In this lesson, we will be discussing the lens of economic inequity and how that plays a role in fieldwork and fieldwork safety. Economic equity and inequity, in particular, is not always visible and may often be relevant as fieldwork is being planned even if not communicated by individuals to whom it's relevant. Economic inequity within fieldwork occurs when an additional cost needs to be covered by an individual who may not have the means to cover said costs. For example, an individual conducting research in polar regions or high alpine environments must often bring the appropriate attire to deal with below freezing conditions, such as jackets, base layers, gloves, and hats. Someone working in rivers may need waders. Someone working in a sunny desert-like area may need extra sun protection gear, like high-quality sunglasses, a sun shirt, or sunscreen. These items are not usually covered by project funds and often require the individual to purchase them using their own funds. For low-income individuals looking to conduct fieldwork, this could be both a barrier to entry into a field-related discipline and a big safety risk to those without appropriate gear. For example, if an individual does not have access to equipment, such as an insulated jacket for below freezing temperatures in polar fieldwork, they could suffer physical harm in the form of frostbite or permanent cold damage to extremities while in the field. Because of this, several groups have looked at the cost of fieldwork and how that affects individuals both within and outside of the geosciences. A recent study showed that the average cost, excluding tuition, for a 5-day field experience for undergraduates ranges between $1,700 and $2,601 and can be as high as $3,800. These costs include gear, flights, meals, lodging, lost wages, and dependent care. And those without the necessary funds are often excluded from these fieldwork opportunities. I'm going to share 3 additional anecdotes or considerations related to inadequate gear posing safety risks to relevant individuals. Antarctic researchers who are small-framed often have issues with standard-issued extreme weather clothing distributed to them when going to Antarctica, such as through the United States Antarctic Program and other programs. The clothing is so big on them that it often poses a tripping hazard as they conduct research on ships and in the field. It is not implied that field researchers enter fieldwork experiences with competency in outdoor pursuits, or that they know how to navigate working in adverse weather conditions. If we assume that people both have the gear they need for the field without checking, or that they even know what they will need for the field, then we are not setting our teams up for success in the field in terms of safety. Transportation to and from local field sites can be an additional expense to those who do not own a car. Providing access to vehicles or multiple transportation options is an important consideration for making fieldwork accessible. Additionally, it's important to consider how economic inequities intersect with other identity lenses that we've covered throughout this module. For example, women or TGD individuals who may be smaller might need to purchase additional extra small or custom-made equipment because standard sizes may not fit them.
So one practice that I've seen other people work into their fieldwork preparation to proactively consider people from varied identities is having a packing list for what to bring on fieldwork, and ideally, if possible, also paying for any specialized, say, clothing, things like steel-toed shoes or cold weather exposure clothing that's needed. And this is really helpful for people who haven't done fieldwork before and who don't have the money to go out and buy a lot of equipment for this fieldwork. So they might not even know what they need to buy, or if they did know what they need to buy, they might not have the means to do it. And so offering both suggestions of what to purchase and then the means to purchase these items helps everyone come in with the same equipment and helps people not have to overextend themselves to buy the equipment to do the work.
It's important to have conversations around needed gear, implied financial responsibilities associated with conducting fieldwork, and to check that everyone is set up for success prior to heading to the field. Another tool for addressing issues of field safety related to this lens is creating gear repositories for fieldwork. Such repositories serve as a loaning system where individuals can borrow certain types of equipment, either at a lower cost or for free. Gear stipends provided to researchers by their lead principal investigators could also work to address this issue. Another option would be to find local gear rental shops to reduce the overall cost of purchasing a piece of equipment that is only going to be needed once or twice. Finally, if you're the lead of a project or field campaign, consider adding to proposal budgets the cost of equipment needed for fieldwork, paying people for their time participating in fieldwork so as to make it accessible to people who would otherwise be taking time away from earning income they need to survive, or seeking out or developing programs such as the Field Experiences Support Program from the California State University Council on Ocean Affairs, Science, and Technology, or COAST. This program provides financial support to students to purchase equipment enabling equitable and inclusive fieldwork. These strategies for mitigating costs help reduce barriers to fieldwork caused by economic inequity and can help prevent people from feeling like they can't afford to do fieldwork and protect them from safety hazards caused by having inadequate gear for a given environment. There is no simple way to address economic inequity within fieldwork. Therefore, if you're a lead on a field campaign, speak to team members about potential needs that may need to be covered and address them before heading to the field. If you are a team member, communicate any needs or potential constraints that you may have with the team lead or a mentor. As is the case for all these identity lenses, having open and transparent communication will not resolve all issues, but it can alleviate stress and pressure amongst the team and can promote a positive culture and environment.